Welcome to Massive Open Online Course viewers. My name is Dr. Milton, Assistant Professor, Department of Public Administration, Madras Christian College, Chennai. In this session, we are going to discuss about the execution of budget. The execution of budget plays such an important role in the budgetary process. The first stage in the budgetary process is formulation of budget. Who will do this formulation of budget? Ministry of Finance. Once the formulation of budget is being done, which will be presented, enacted in the Parliament. In between the formulation and the presentation, there is a ceremony called Halwa ceremony. After Halwa ceremony, 10 days this will be enacted in the Parliament. So, while the enactment process in the Parliament, the Finance Minister will be presenting the same in the Parliament on the first working day of the February. After that, the presentation, general discussion will be there, then report on the committees will be there, voting will be there, then finance bill, appropriation bill demands will be there, then the next stage is execution of the budget. See, this execution of budget, it is very important thing. Before getting into the execution of budget, just I would like to tell you about what is the meaning of execution of budget. Execution of budget means the enforcement or implementation of the budget after its enactment by the Parliament. Once the execution enactment part is over, soon after, immediately the execution takes place. See, budget serves no purpose unless it is enforced. The revenue and expenditure are regulated according to it. Very true. See, if it is not implemented properly, then what is the use of formulation or presentation of the budget in the Parliament? It has to be properly enforced for the action. Enforcement or execution is the responsibility of the executive. The other important work of the Finance Ministry is to execute or to implement or to enforce the budget. The execution of the budget is the final phase after the budget formulation and budget enactment of the budgetary procedure in India. In other words, it means the implementation of the Appropriation Act, which means dealing with the expenditure, and the Finance Act dealing with the revenue. See, these two are very important aspects while executing the budget. First one is about dealing with the expenditure. Second one is about dealing with the revenue. Budget execution involves the utilization of allocated funds to implement the government policies. That's what the budget is made for. Whatever government policies which are going to be implemented, budget plays vital role. Without the budget, no government policies can be implemented. It is natural to consume the appropriated funds in the budget. We will discuss how this appropriate funds can be utilized. What is the Consolidated Fund of India and all we will be discussing in the forthcoming session. Budget, it is not necessary that good budget will lead to effective execution. See, probably we may have such a sound budget, good budget, but while implementing the same, we must be very much cautious. It has to be implemented effectively. Otherwise, probably I may have such a sound budget, but if I fail to implement the budget effectively, then it is use of nothing. So, while executing the budget, while implementing the budget, we have to follow all available resources, how this can be implemented so effectively in order to accomplish the goals of the nation. The budget is executed by various administrative ministries, departments under the overall control and direction of the finance ministry. In this execution part, whatever money fund which has been allocated for the ministries and departments, this will be allocated by the Ministry of Finance. Direction will be given by the Ministry of Finance. If you go back how budgets have been formulated, Finance Ministry will send notice to the various ministries. Under ministries, there will be so many departments. What Finance Ministry is expecting from those ministries and departments is what is their expected expenditure for the forthcoming financial year, as well as the revenue from the particular ministry and the departments. Based on that, budget will be formulated. While implementation also, the same thing follows. Whatever bills they have received from the ministries and departments, fund will be allocated. During the enactment part, there will be a discussion. After that, this fund further will be given to the concerned ministries and departments under the guidance of Ministry of Finance. In other words, the overall responsibility regarding the execution of the budget lies with the Finance Ministry, the central finance agency of the government. It is utmost responsibility of the ministry to allocate funds to the concerned ministries and to the concerned departments based on their requirements. In this execution part, the Ministry of Finance plays such an important role. Under the control of Ministry of Finance only this will be done. Let us say the Ministry of Human Resources is asking some money in order to implement their policies and programs. The execution of budget involves collection of taxes, revenues, service performed by the treasury, services performed by the finance department, auditing, and the final one is controlling of accounts. These are all 6 important activities of while executing the budget. First is collection of revenue. Through various sources, through direct and indirect taxes, revenue will be collected by the government. Then the revenues, whatever revenues government has received, so that based on that only the allocation, while implementing the budget, the allocation will be done. Then the role of treasury is very important. They will be releasing the funds to the various ministries and the departments. The finance department plays such an important role while allocation. They will be allocating the funds based on the appropriation. Then auditing will be there, and that is the last stage. After the execution of the budget, the final stage is auditing in the budgetary process, then controlling of the accounts. Finance Ministry will look into all these 6 aspects. Now we will discuss about the process of budget execution. See, the first step is the passing of finance and appropriation bills. This finance and appropriation bill has to be passed at the first stage itself. The Ministry of Finance plays a crucial role. This will be passed in the Parliament based on the voting. Once it is being done, this will be considered as a first step in the budget process. Second is the execution of budget is done on the expenditure and revenue sides. As I mentioned earlier, while collecting the expected expenditure before formulation of the budget from the various ministries and departments, see again the execution of budget will be done on the expenditure and revenue sides. Here if we see the expenditure part of the budget, which consists of a system of existing of controlling officers, a system of competent authorities who issue financial sanctions, a system of drawing and disbursing officers, a system of payments, receipts and accounts. See, while the expenditure of the budget, these four are very important, which consist of these four aspects in it. Okay. Now we will discuss about what is the duty of controlling officer. Here the duty of controlling officer, it is twofold. First is to see that work is done in accordance with the approved budget. The controlling officer will look into whether work has been done as per the in accordance with the approved budget. Whatever amount which has been approved in order to complete the assignment task or in order to implement the goal, whether it is done in accordance with the approved budget or not, that is the first duty of the controlling officer. Second is to see the ministries and departments not spend beyond the sanctioned amount. See, in our home also, for an example, if I am earning certain amount as my monthly salary, I will be allocating money based on my expenditure for the forthcoming month, which means for the present month or next month. If my salary is X, I need to divide the money, whatever money, salary or money which is there in my hand. If I plan for, let us say, if I am planning to spend 100 rupees, that is the only possibility based on my salary. If I am planning to spend 150 rupees, what will happen? So, there will be shortage, there will be deficit. In order to avoid all those things, the controlling officer will be keep on looking on whether the ministries and the departments are spending money, whatever money which is being allocated to perform the particular task. If it goes beyond, they will not give permission. This will help to have control over all public expenditure from both the sides. So, the controlling officer here plays two crucial roles. First is to see that work is done in accordance with the approved budget. Second one is about the work has to be done whatever amount money which is being allocated with means within the budget, it should not go beyond the budget. Ordinarily, the head of the ministry or department as the controlling officer in respect of the part of the budget with which the ministry or department is concerned. There will be head of the department or head of the ministry, HOD will be there. So that they will be takes care of this controlling officer role. When the appropriate act is passed, the Ministry of Finance is advised spending ministries or departments about their respective allocation of fund. So that the head will be looking after all those things, he will give directions about whether the money is spent appropriately. Second one is about whatever budget, the limit, the capping within the budget they are supposed to spend to meet their expenditure. The controlling officers then distribute and advise about the money sanctioned to the various disbursing officers, restricting the expenditure of the latter to the amount the former advised them. So, the controlling officer, the head of the ministry or the head of the department, what they will do is they distribute and advise about the money sanction for their ministry or to the concerned departments. So, they will be intimating to the disbursing officer to restrict the expenditure of the latter to the amount the former advised them. First, they provide advice on what is the purpose, how much of money is being allocated. Then later on they will tell you about, they will give advice on how this can be spent. The controlling officer keep track of the progress of expenditure in their respective ministry or department. They maintain a proper record, because the fourth stage in the budgetary process is called audit. CAG will do the audit. During that time, each and every ministries and departments are supposed to submit detailed report. They have to submit all their expenditure details, so that this will be audited. The execution of the budget rests on these following three. First one is about proper allocation of the revenue, proper custody of the collected funds, proper distribution of funds. These three things. Let me repeat: proper allocation of the revenue, proper custody of the collected funds, then proper distribution of the fund. Okay. See, the first one is about the proper allocation of the revenue. Here, the execution of the budget has to have proper and detailed report on how much of money is being allocated for the concerned ministries and to the department, what for. Second one is about proper custody of the collected funds. As I mentioned earlier, so that government will collect money, revenue through various sources, through taxes, direct and indirect taxes, through public sector undertakings. Now, the role of government is to keep safe all the collected money. This should be kept as custody of the collected funds. Next one is about, third is proper distribution of the funds, allocation of funds. Once the allocation done, then custody, then distribution of the funds. Funds has to be distributed properly as per the budget. While enacting the budget, they will have a clear idea, clear statement about why this much of money is being allocated to concerned ministry or concerned department, what are the assignments, what are the policies, what are all the tasks which are supposed to be accomplished. For that purpose, they will distribute the funds. There are three aspects of the execution of budget. First aspect is distribution of the grants to different departments and ministries. Second is collection of revenue. Third is proper custody of the allocated funds. Okay. Distribution of the grants. Here, the Ministry of Finance distributes the sanctioned funds to the various controlling officer under its purview. Under the Ministry of Finance purview will be distributed. Here, the Department of Revenue has control over the machinery entrusted with the collection of taxes through CBT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, and the Central Board of Excise and Customs. These are all two important boards. Let me repeat: the Department of Revenue has control over the machinery entrusted with the collection of taxes through Central Board of Direct Taxes and the Central Board of Excise and Customs. See, there are two financial advisors. First is internal financial advisor, then external financial advisor. What is the role of internal financial advisor? Here, the role of the internal financial advisor is to assist the ministry, assist the departments in the exercise of powers delegated to it. They will support to the ministries and to the departments to exercise the powers which is being delegated to the concerned ministries and to the concerned departments. That is the role of internal financial advisor. Then what is the role of external financial advisor? See, the role of external financial advisor is to render and advise on behalf of Ministry of Finance. Whenever the ministry or the department, if they are seeking for any advice, support from the Ministry of Finance, behalf of the Ministry of Finance, these external financial advisors, they extend their supports to the ministries and the departments who are all seeking support from the Ministry of Finance. There are two financial advisors, internal and external. There are two machineries which is available in the under the Department of the Revenue. One is Central Board of Direct Taxes, second is the Central Board of Excise and Customs. Okay. The other important role is the scheme of integrated financial advisor, which is entrusted with the overall responsibility which was created in the year of 1975. See, this integrated financial advisor designation may be joint secretary or additional secretary to the government. Here, what is their overall responsibility which was created in the year of 1975? The first responsibility is formulation of the budget of the department. Second is managing transfer of funds. Third is control. The last one is supervision. These are all four responsibilities. Let me repeat. First is formulation of the budget of the expenditure. Second is managing of transfer of funds. Third is control, and fourth one is supervision. These are all four responsibilities of the integrated financial advisor which was created in the year of 1975. Dear viewers, so far we discussed about what is budget. Initially we started with how the budget is formulated, what is the enactment of budget, what are the various stages while enacting the budget. Then finally we discussed about the execution of budget. Under this execution of budget, we discussed about what is the meaning of execution of budget, that what are the various aspects which is involved in execution of budget, and various steps, and what is Central Board of Direct Tax as well as indirect taxes, and also we discussed about other activities while implementing the budgeting process by the Ministry of Finance and rest of the other ministries and departments. In the next session, I would like to continue this execution of budget. What is the role of various committees in the execution of budget? Thank you so much.